laps, $15,000 to win.
They look for the green flag. RJ Norton and the 7 of Tunney is their green flag. 200 laps of racing. Survival. That's what you focus on in these early laps. If you're up front, you want to stay there. If you're in the back like Mark Tunney, you got to get there.
Take a look at Mark and see that 3T machine kind of still stuck in the back, trying to make his way forward.
Clean first lap. Drivers respecting each other out there. Couple cars just veering off-road. There is grass, and it is an element of this racetrack that we talk about. You don't have a lot of exits, a lot of opportunity to avoid. And we're already having intersections.
And we're door slamming over the corner. Pierce and Riddle making some contact. These cars have bars. They're ready to do battle if needed.
We have a dedicated intersection camera. You won't miss a thing no matter what happens there.
Hodgkins, look out. This could be spell disaster.
Yep, we always talk about it. Cars stopping at the intersection to let a field go by. A lot of times we see that create a problem. Couple cars having issues. One car already off the track and stalled. It looks like it's Pete Bear, the 24. Have a problem as we completely have blocked now the entrance to the intersection. Tommy, the leaders are going to come into this, but where are you going to go?
You're going to have to go through the grass. You're going to have to tiptoe through. Cones are flying. Look out, driver.
Oh! Mark Tunney narrowly avoiding. Hodgkins is stuck, and the red flag will fly.
Austin Tunney leads in the number 7 machine, opening up a gap over the battle for second spot. Stickler in the 99 has his hands full with Ben Tunney.
Couple more cars with issue. Hodgkins in the 97 has pulled it off on the back straightaway. Returning to the track is Durham, and around goes Norton over the turn. How about that?
Gotta get going.
Stunt driving.
They're not gonna wait for you.
Norton does not lose a lap, but the intersection's busy. Tunney involved in this one, and he's able to get through. And Basham is also, but Tommy, I don't know how much that rule is gonna apply, as we still have a huge amount of the field still left.
You're talking about Basham, he's continuing on. Doesn't look like he's got too much damage. Like I said, might have been stuck, might have been high center. Florida Figure 8 State Championship.
Oh, intersection! It's going to involve Puckett and Hearn.
And that does slow up your leaders.
Puckett pulls it off, but Hearn continues in the 83.
Oh,
what is that? What was that?
I don't even know.
Describe in words what you just saw. White gets into Riddle. And they made it through again.
Artwork. More battling up here. Getting around the lap traffic, the 3D of the Bull Steve Durham. Mark Tunney trying to get around the 80 of Murphy. These two drivers started at the tail of the field, near it.
Yep, Durham lost 12 laps in his off-track excursion. The 99 of Puckett returns to the racetrack.
But your leader, the 7, in a ton of traffic.
Oh, and your leader turns the 69 of Norton, and Van Meter got one of his laps back. And here's a battle for the lead. Ben Tunney working his way by the 7. Does the 7 have an issue? Ben Tunney has taken the lead. More weirdness through the intersection, this time involving Jesse Tunney. Flat right rear tire for Van Meter. He got his lap back.
And Austin Tunney off the pace.
The 7 machine who's led it from the green flag. Austin Tunney pulls it into the pits. Again.
As Stickler going through lap traffic, right behind the 21 of the Riddler. Putting the 21 another lap down.
And Riddle's had a couple things. One car is spinning out. It's Thomas St. John's, our 5th place car.
And number 5 might be alive.
Stickler goes low to the inside of Wisman. Tunney going to follow through. Lap traffic, we've seen it come into play so many times through these events. Pete Bear, the 24, they work their way to the outside.
We got a race on our hands.
90 laps to go. Nose to tail, and just ahead of them, it'll really throw people off because, oh yeah, let's watch this.
I saw that 3 wide and I was like, I don't know about looking up there.
I was going to say the one machine in third, just ahead of those drivers.
Right.
However, a lap differential between them. You know, that group you were just watching, they door slammed a bit.
So a couple of storylines here. Corey Harmon in that 17 machine, brand new everything that he had starting in 2020. New chassis, new body. Other than the driver, everything's changed. But the number 4 machine driving Mason Hadley's Outlaw Figure 8 racing machine, that's not the car he's familiar with.
Eddie Van Meter has returned to the racetrack. In fact, he held up the 17 machine of Harmon as the battle for the lead, and Murphy, who's in the top 10, by the way, that 80 machine, but Ben Tunney is here. Is it go time?
I think Murphy might have an issue, but taking a look here at your leaders. Murphy coming to a stop at the crossover.
Again, in a bad area. Officials will put out the red for Murphy.
Oh, and a stack up at the red.
But they have got a whole bunch of hands on this car, and as soon as we can figure out what it is, we will let you know. We see him turning the wheel in the cockpit, so it may be a power steering issue for Cody Stickler. And they're going to send him out maybe without the hood and without the filler panel, and get him back out before we go green.
Looked like transmission fluid.
Right, and you can substitute that with some power steering and a pinch. And what a tough break.
Like you said, though, like Tony was talking about, now they're trying to get this car rolling here. They're pushing. It's a team effort.
Well, guys, we just talked to the team and confirmed, yes, it is a power steering issue. But as you can see, now they've got bigger issues trying to get that car started. And they've got about 10 guys pushing it up the hill. And finally, maybe they got it fired for Cody Stickler.
Unbelievable.
Just piles on. Now, Tommy, if you're that crew, you do everything to push that car onto the track, because as long as that car's on the track, he actually just got, it looked like maybe some assistance from Logue, but Stickler is back on track. And the locals here are cheering, but man. So, here's the deal. Power steering.
Ooh, that's going to be a rough ride.
It's definitely not going to be to his benefit, but it's not going to take him out.
Guys, one of the things we need to worry about and keep an eye on here is tire wear. There was some discussion if they would be allowed a pit stop to change any tires this week, and the answer is no. So they've got to go 200 laps. You can see here on the edge of the racetrack all the marbles and all the chunks of rubber that ultimately came off these tires. We're about a lap away from going green, but keep an eye, because this is rubber that was once on tires, and the question now is 74 laps to go. Who has any of that Hoosier tire rubber left at the end of 200 laps?
That's the strategy. Who's been saving their equipment, and especially their tires? We've seen it come into play here, Tommy. Tunney's been running hard with Stickler. Stickler's going to have to catch back up as we get ready for the restart. 126 laps on the board. And poised to try to get himself a good finish here. And
Stickler up the track in a new second spot.
Now what Tommy St. John's racing for, he's 2 laps down. He's looking for the opportunity to get by Ben Tunney if it arises.
Off and into the pits, done for the night. We're down to the Tunney, duking it out for the lead.
Side by side, Jesse Tunney's going to take the top spot. And one car looks like it just drove into the wall. I can't see which car it is. It might be the one of Wisman. Red flag is in the air. And now the question, Tommy, if you're Stickler, are you going to pull in?
We'll have to look and see as the ambulance coming up too.
This is the first time. I'm curious if that was a wall shot there for Wisman. Now Wisman is moving inside the car. He just pulled off the steering wheel.
The Rebel from Michigan.
And Tommy, the 99 of Stickler is pulling it into the pits. You're going to see the car right there.
Yep.
Well, as you guys can see, the team a little bit calmer this time than what they were before, trying to diagnose this issue. We've got about 5 cell phone flashlights, 8 crew members, 16 brains, and no bottles of power steering fluid. They looked at it before. They went and thrashed to get a bottle of fluid. There are no bottles in anybody's hands here. They're trying to figure out if it's a belt issue, if it's a pump issue, if it's a fluid issue. You see all the motions, and they just told Cody to cut it off. They're going to look and see what the issue is, and it looks like they're going to try to go into the reservoir to see if there's any fluid even left in it. It could be a leak in the system, so no fluid is not going to, or no new fluid's not going to help if it leaks out. It could be a busted hose or something like that. So they're going to have a chance now to diagnose this issue, as you see the crew member down there trying to reach onto that reservoir and pull it off to at least check and see if there is fluid, and of course refill it possibly and see if there's a leak when everything is said and done.
We've gone through multiple favorites in this race, and a lot of sparks coming out. Looks like something just broke on Shackelford's car, but he continues on, and why wouldn't you? 1 lap to go. White flag is in the air. He played his cards perfectly, conserved when he needed to, and lit it right at the end. The 1T of Jesse Tunney wins the 8th annual Southern World Finals at Showtime Speedway.
Came on when it mattered the most. As you see the 28 broken right front, finishing it off. And a ball of sparks. Strong run for the 28 of Shackelford all weekend long, just did not pan out at the end.
7th for the 28.
Jesse Tunney, like you said, Jeffrey, is Showtime Speedway Southern World Finals champion of 2020.
Here he comes.
Here he comes, guys, out of the race car. Jesse Tunney, $15,000 richer here at Showtime Speedway. In a race that was filled with ups and downs, it's probably appropriate that number 1 ended up in P1. Jesse gets congratulations from some of the crew. What was that race like from where you sat?
Oh, chaotic the whole time, man. I wouldn't have ever thought if I'd even survive it. I had a few times jumping through the grass here, trying to get through the crossover, and just so much chaos. I didn't know if I'd ever survive, and the guys got so far ahead. I just tried to keep my patience and do my best to not overdo my tires. Was hoping for a few more cautions to group things up. The lap cars, you know, when we get a caution, I had 1,000 lap cars between us, and finally got a closer restart there at the end. And as we were getting there later, I just knew we had a really good car.